after a divorce, and after the passing, untimely passing of my father. So that's how I became a writer. And here I am.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? What's going on? Welcome to a special edition of Conversation with Trent Company with the lovely Shan, as well as Nick, coming through to do a recap, as well as talking about some other stuff. Let me bring good folks in. Bring them in. Welcome, Shan, from tops and bottom.
Good evening.
What's going on with you?
What isn't going on? But glad to be here tonight.
Good stuff. Appreciate the sponsorship as always. We'll really appreciate that with Tops and Bottoms. Those wonderful cookies, as you can see, I'm stacking them up. Next, going to be on top of the ceiling. So
I see your collection back there. Nice.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's bring Nick in. We'll get this recap from last Sunday's show as well, and then we'll get back into the topic for this evening: Sapiosexual. What's going on, Nick?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, brother? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, actually, man, we were recapping backstage, and you brought up some stuff about the 5 stages of grief and loss. You said you listened to the show,
right,
from last Sunday. What stuck out during that show for you to get to that point?
Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
What stuck out in the portion of the show? What got you to that point to actually bring that up?
Oh, it was the grieving aspect for sure. Just when we go through relationship loss and learning how to grieve over it, right? Learning, because as I said backstage, I used to be one of those where I would just go from relationship to relationship and not properly grieve over relationships. But one thing that we know about grief is that grief and love are parallel to one another. We grieve over the things that we love.
That's right. So to bring the folks, speed the folks up, get ahead of what we're talking about. Actually, Shannon and I had a conversation on Sunday about the 5 steps of grief and loss, and a lot of folks don't really realize that you go through those steps several times, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
1 to 5, back and forth. Yeah. Acceptance, forgiveness, angry. I want you back. I don't want you anymore. Angry again, going back to the first step again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a process. It's a process. It's almost like a death. It's like a death. When you lose that relationship, it's like a person's died to you.
Yeah.
No longer. No more.
Yeah. I will say that in the midst of, it took me a while I accepted it. It took me a while to not judge myself, not shame myself, not coulda, shoulda, woulda, and just really take it as it is.
Good stuff, man. Glad that could reach you. Glad that reached you. But let's get on to the topic for discussion for this evening. That is sapiosexual.
Oh, it's my time right here.
What is that? Oh, what does that mean?
Hold on, young cub. Hold on a second. 1 second. No. Sapiosexual. I actually had a conversation with a friend. We were talking, and like we normally do, having a late night cocktail. Well, not an actual cocktail, but we call it a cocktail. Conversation, whatnot. And we just got to talking about intellectual conversations. And start to thinking, I'm like, what is that word? What is that word when you enjoy intellectual conversation, stimulating conversation? So she said sapiosexual. I was like, oh, okay, good stuff. We'll try that. We'll try that on the next show when I get back to those guys. We'll try that again. But yeah, it was good for me as far as intellectual conversation. There's nothing more I enjoy than a huge conversation, a great conversation that I can learn from anyone, whether it be female, whether it be male. It has to be an intellectual conversation. I mean, I can talk with the best of them. I can talk to the trash man. I can talk to the president at the same dinner table. But there's nothing like an intellectual conversation where you're learning something. If you're constantly learning something, that means you're moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's a turn on for me. It's a complete turn on for me.
Yeah.
You know, just like I always said, I've written about this for years. Hey, you got a nice, pretty face and a round ass, but what's between your shoulders? I want to know what's up with your shoulders. So, what say you, Shan?
Well, I think one of the first times you had me on, we were talking about the whole serial dating thing.
Right.
And I was being accused of being a serial dater. Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but that's not true. But I've always known this about myself, that I am definitely attracted to intellect, and that's kind of one of the ways that I weed people out that I meet. However, it's based on.
Wait. You said that how you weed people out?
Yeah.
If that doesn't sound like a serial date, I don't know what is.
That's not dating. That's just conversation. That's just
vetting things out.
That's just vetting, collecting intel, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's always been my thing. It's like that's why I don't do a whole lot of texting with people. I like to get on the phone first and talk to people. Yeah. And then if we can hold conversation and we have things to talk about and it's not forced and I'm not having to pull things out of you all the time, and you can really just have an opinion just about almost anything, that's what's most attractive to me and gets people to the next stage, at least for me.
So with that said, I come with some questions tonight.
Oh gosh. Glad I got my notepad.
Physical attractiveness or intelligence? What qualities do women look for in a man?
Ooh. They're both.
We're talking about everyone. Like, what's the percentage on that, by the way?
I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself and maybe a good majority. It's like, that's hard because I need both. I need to be physically attracted to the person, and I need to be attracted. I need to be stimulated mentally by them. So that's a twofold. They gotta have both. Yeah. And they have to be a certain height. Let's not forget that. But
yeah. Isn't that superficial? That's very superficial.
Whoa. Hun, did you just say whoa? You said they had to be a certain height?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What height do they have to be?
At least the lowest is gonna be it's gonna be 5'10". I prefer 5'11" and higher, but
so do you know that? Okay, let me ask you that. I'm sorry. Let me add. Do you know the average height of a man?
No. What is it?
5'9", right?
Yeah.
So anywhere above 5'10", let's say 6 foot and over, for men, it's like I think 13-14%, right?
So that means that I just don't get the average person. That's awesome, right? I get above average.
See, I'm sorry, Trent. Go ahead.
Yeah. I have above average standards.
Here's the thing, though. With the right man, the right man likes to bully at all that thought process.
Yes.
The right man. What? Say that again. I missed it.
The right man would alleviate all that thought process you just said, as far as the measurement of height.
I'm gonna be honest. No. Now, see, maybe for somebody else, but I am going to definitely stick to the height thing. So I was with someone for 16 years that was like the same height as I was. I did not like wearing heels and towering over that person. You know, love whatever, but I knew once that relationship was over that when I got into my next relationship or whoever I ended up with, they had to at least be taller than me when I'm wearing 3 to 4 inch heels, and I'm 5'6".
Shan, we're gonna talk about that off the phone because I have all kind of things. I don't want to look. I want to be clear and say that I respect your preferences, but what I'm also saying that I'm gonna debunk the most. We're gonna talk after this though, but we're gonna talk about that.
There's no debunking to be done. My list is my list. But anyway, this is not about me.
Exactly, it's about Trent. So let's go. Let's get that. Yeah. Right. So let's go here. Let's go there. Let's go back to the sapiosexual. So sapiosexual. So like I said, so you said it. height requirement, all this other stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's interesting that you would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting you say that. But when you think about it, isn't that a tad bit superficial?
Isn't it a tad bit superficial that men don't want to be with women who aren't physically attractive to them? Or
here we go with the deflecting redirect game. You are deflecting and redirecting.
No, I'm not. I'm being very honest, because men want something pretty to look at. You are visual creatures. That is a proven fact, right?
We're not talking about
so
men.
Why can't a woman have a height requirement, whether that's superficial or not? Like, come on now. Come on, you can't have it both ways. Let's not be hypocritical.
But Sharon, we're not talking about both ways. We're talking about women. You're playing the deflect redirect game.
I'm not trying to deflect. I'm just trying to even out the playing field. Where if you're going to put something on me and say that that's superficial, then I have to throw it back at you. That you're not trying to take Aunt Jemima out with you on the date at night. Like, I'm just saying. If that was the case, you wouldn't have the video with people. Girls wouldn't be getting butt injections or breast implants or
honestly, to be fair, hold on. Honestly, to be fair, that as far as me personally, I've never been moved by a pretty face and a round ass.
So all the chick you dealt with could have been butt ugly.
I'm not gonna say that.
No. Were they or were they not? Were they appealing to the eye?
Very appealing.
That's subjective. Okay, but you're gonna get that with different people because attraction can look like a lot. So I'll say this: attraction. So I will say intellect is big for me, right? Mm-hmm. Because I know me, and I know because I love the way my mind works. I really love hearing people's perspectives and opinions on things and matters, and that they're very passionate about, and them being open to hearing and listening to another perspective as well too, right? And not only with just life and just relationships, but music. We can talk all day about Eric Benet, Maxwell, like the whole neo soul movement. We can talk about people.
All that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's get down to the meat potatoes. So let's just get down to the meat potatoes. First of all, any woman, in my opinion, any woman that says yes, you have to be a certain height, you have to be a certain weight, all this other stuff, all that stuff goes out of the window when he brings that woman into his realm. When he brings her to the next level, all of that stuff goes completely out of the window.
What does that mean? What does that look like? What does that mean?
Mentally, emotionally, everything. You're gonna totally forget this brother's 5'9", 5'7", if he's speaking to you properly, if he's talking to you, if he's speaking to your soul, if he's feeding you nourishment, if he's giving you nourishment, totally, all that stuff goes completely out of the window. All that goes out, if he's giving you exactly what you need, he's feeding you, giving you nourishment. Right. All that goes out of the window. That was the reason why. Listen, I knew that you would actually go there. That was the reason why I attached that promo about the man pouring into the soul when they pour into each other. I knew you'd go there, Shan. I knew you would go there.
And Shan, I want to
act like you know me.
And Shan, I want to be.
Sorry, say that again.
Stop trying to act like you know me.
Shan, I
knew you would go there.
I want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with having those preferences, right? The thing is, the problem at times is that what people have, and it goes back to Trent's point, is we're so gung-ho on these preferences that what ends up happening is you can meet a guy who may be average height, and he may be everything else, but because he's average height, he may stimulate you intellectually. He may do all these other things, but he's average height. And if he's just average height, and that's what you're focusing on, like that's what I think people end up tripped up at, is because these preferences. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with them, but what I'm also saying too is that we are so gung ho on them that, man, like, you know, that we don't even know what average is. Like, an average guy is like, it's 5'9". There's nothing wrong with being average. Nothing right. There's nothing settling or anything out of that world because someone is average. The problem is that problem is that when people have had below average experiences, the
Okay.
average and bare minimum seems like it's overinflated.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Nick. You read a couple of books, I see. Okay.
I appreciate that, Nick. I appreciate that. Let me stop. But anyway, so the whole point is, like I said, to go off of what Nick's saying here, I'll go back to my point. It doesn't matter if that man is 5'8". Let's say he's a couple of inches under your whole scale that you put together in your head. But if he's giving you exactly what you need, he's giving you nourishment, he's feeding your soul, he's speaking life into you. Your mind will completely change.
I'm gonna walk away because I believe that I can have everything that I want.
You think so?
I do.
People in hell want ice water. They haven't got it yet.
That's them. I ain't in hell and I ain't looking for ice water.
But Shan, I get it. I really do, and I get it. And what I'm just saying,
I don't get that, and I'm not gonna agree with that, Nick.
I'll say I understand. I disagree with. Well, I can't say I disagree because that's who Shan is. So I can do nothing but accept it. What I'm just saying is that I'll say this for me. I've dated. Okay, here's a prime example. I've dated a woman when I was much younger who was checked the box on everything.
Right.
Now I met someone.
And you didn't run. Did you run or you stayed? Which one?
No. We weren't just here, right? Now I met somebody 4 or 5 months after that, and our attraction grew over time because she was attracted to was my character. My character and how I was what she was attracted to, right? And that was the longest relationship I was in, right? And granted, even though that romantically didn't work out, what I'm just saying is that there's a fine balance, right? And what I will say is that for me, like when I hear that, like, there's nothing wrong with it. But what I would just say is that when it comes to certain things about men and things like that, I get it. If that's what you like, that's what you like, and I'm not here to shame you for it. That's what you like.
It's not shaming. That's just calling it for what it is. That's a superficial thought process on that part.
Because a man
that is a superficial thought process. Let's just call it
now. Let me flip
Put
it.
Put an S on my forehead, then.
But let me flip it a little bit because now I want to be fair because I'm going to put us brothers on the spot as well too. Mm-hmm. Because what we do is some men basically use that same logic, right? Some men will say. So I think this is I don't think it's a man or woman thing. It's literally, okay, what is important to you, right? And Shan, I'm gonna leave you with this. I'm gonna get you right here. Say this 6 foot man. I go back to this every single time. This 6 foot brother, right? 6'2", maybe 6'2", got broad shoulders, all of that, right?
Ooh, okay.
What happens if he gets into a car wreck and he's paralyzed and in a wheelchair?
But does he have everything else?
I'm not saying. See, no, saying.
It's not just the height; it's everything else.
Right, but I'm going by what you said because no. Because this is what you said.
Very interesting question.
This is what you said. You said a man can be. This is what Trent said. This man can be everything. But if he is a couple inches shorter, you said you wouldn't. You said you wouldn't entertain it. Right, so I'm telling you, if this man is everything, he's 6'2", but if he gets into a car wreck, is in a wheelchair, how are you then going to assess that?
I mean, if we were already together in a relationship, then that's just part of the relationship. But
he's in a wheelchair now. He's not 6'2" anymore.
Okay, I mean,
that's my point about the height. That's the point about that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not going to just leave him because he's in a wheelchair. Like, come on now.
I'm just saying.
It's very interesting. Very
I love you, Shane. I do. I love you, Shane. I do. I'm just challenging you. That's all. I don't want you to.
How tall are you, Nick?
5'9".
Oh, so you try. Oh, there we go.
But no, that is if you look at dating statistics, the average height of a male in America is 5'9".
That's okay. That's fine. No problem.
Hey,
Thank you.
I'm good with being average. Let me not go there. I'm sorry.
I'm feeling like Chuck Woolery. Let's go to commercial break so we can get y'all together real quick. We'll be right back, folks. 1 second.
Oh my God.
Thanks for tuning into Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks.
Check out the creative work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
Welcome back to Conversations with Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're online and want to be a part of tonight's topic, you can do that by dialing 347-324-5327. Press the number 1 to get into the queue so that your voice can be added to tonight's conversation. Now, let's get back to the show.
Sapiosexual. So, what do we learn? We've learned that Shan has quite a height requirement.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. Did we even talk about sapiosexual? Because you guys just jumped right on me.
Let's not say you guys. Let's not say you guys. Let's not categorize. So, sapiosexual. Let's talk about sapiosexual. So, back to as far as the intellectual conversation. What's it for you, Shan? What's the intellectual conversation like? What does he have to bring to the table? What type of conversation?
I don't know,
I think she froze up.
So
go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I will say for me.
Can you hear me?
Go. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, you guys had disappeared for a minute, but intellectual conversation is really just being able to kind of being knowledgeable, someone who's been engaged in just like everyday life, things that are going on, that they have opinions or even stances on important topics that you can talk about. I'm one of those people, I can talk to someone on the phone forever. Probably the longest time I ever talked to maybe 7 hours when I first met someone. And I was just like, it's almost like you just don't want to stop talking to that person or that individual. And that's the intellectual part and the stimulating part and the attractive part.
Yeah, and Shan, I second all of that, and I say even with getting to hear people's opinions and their opinions and truths on things, but really like when you get to know people and like you guys can talk about anything and it goes for hours. I remember this one lady who she was older than me, and I remember like we talked about trauma, childhood trauma, and we talked about that for like 3 hours over the phone. And she was in her early 40s, and so like and not only just that, but we would talk about education. We would talk about and like her opinions, and she'll hear my opinion. We will go back and forth, and it's almost, oh man, it's attractive to hear people have their own opinions and intellect over gossipy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Over low energy, just everyday gossipy stuff.
Yes, and not necessarily someone who has the same stance or opinions as you do or viewpoints as you. It's good to have that healthy debate to be able to go back and forth. You know, I kind of look at it as a challenge. You know, or am I going to be able to sway you, or are you going to be able to sway me? Things like that.
Yeah. Or do we?
It has to be some pushback. Has to be.
Right.
Yes.
If it's not pushback, it's going to be pushover. Trust me.
Correct. And I think that's the thing there. Like, I think so many times people want people who are just like-minded. No, I want someone who has a different perspective than me. I want someone who able to see life in a different lens than how I see it, and I'm able to listen to it and understand how their thought process and now granted I still will challenge it. Don't get me wrong. Right. It's just my makeup, right? But like really just like hearing someone's perspective and hearing, you know, and then when you have two different people who have different perspectives and they, you know, you can agree to disagree in harmony, but you understand one another. I think that's where it's at. I can disagree with a range of people, but do we understand one another?
And let's like I said, let's get to the meat and potatoes of when we talk about sapiosexual and we talk about connections and chemistry and whatnot and what have you. Both parties have to be on the same realm to get that communicate, to be able to communicate without speaking, to be able to communicate without my presence in the room. You're going to feel exactly what I'm feeling and know exactly what I'm saying without even speaking to you. So that's a part of the intellect I'm talking about. That's what attracts me, that my presence be felt when I'm not even in the room. When you're truly connected to someone. So you can't just, average people can't do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Average people will not be able to get it. They cannot connect. That's why we have a ton of these broken relationships today, because we got the horse before the carriage.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then think about like when, you know, when you're growing together and say you're growing together and you get older, right? You have to be able to talk about things and things like that. And a lot of times people just don't talk about things like just, you know, a lot of times people don't sit down and have coffee and talk. Like that's my thing. I know, Shan, that's your thing. Like that. Like I am a coffee shop guy. I'm like, yo, let's go to a coffee shop, steakhouse, and let's just talk. And like Shan said, it's effortless. Like when you're in sync with somebody, it's effortless. Like it's almost kind of like flowing like a river in a sense. And where it's not like
almost like that almost like that now running to the Mediterranean Sea.
Right. And it's not like me. And you can kind of tell when it's kind of forced, because it's almost kind of like like there is silence where silence is where there is clarity in silence, and it's a good thing. But then there's silence too when it's very awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like an awkward silence. And so, but no,
in order to even get to that realm, man, you have to be, first of all, you have to be whole within self, and to even see that light in another person. That other person has to be whole within self as well.
And you have to be open. You have to be open to them challenging you. You have to be open to someone having a different perspective and thought process than you. And a lot of times, like I said, it's not about being right. It's about, okay, I didn't even see it that way. I didn't even know that. Like, that is awesome. Thank you for enlightening me on, you know, men who are over 6 foot. Thank you for, you know what I'm saying? but you see what I'm sorry, Sam.
I do. It's okay.
But that's the thing. There is just that, you know, the more that, you know, people, you know, that's what I've always been attracted to is you know,
I think conversation has become a lost art. You know, people are so into electronics and their gadgets and all that stuff. And even with with a lot of the younger generation, I have teenagers, and one of my fears is that they won't know how to engage other people or hold conversations because they're always just into their devices.
Yeah.
So I am like you with that. I'm one of those. Yeah, let's go to the coffee shop and hang out and talk. Even when it's just with me and my friends, it's like let's get out. I'm one of those people, even because I love reading. So rather have a book in my. I'm just old school. I want to have the book. I want to fill the pages. I want to carry all that kind of stuff. So I just feel like conversation is just a lost art these days.
So I'm glad you brought up conversation. Why do you feel outside of the texting and the different mediums of how like we communicate? Why do you feel that it's even? Why do you feel like conversations like this, or just conversations in general, are such a lost art outside of the texting and things like that?
I just feel that I feel like we just technology is kind of just taken over as far as how we communicate with each other now. And I'm guilty of it. I'm an electronic communicator all day in my professional life, right? With emails, whether it's texting, instant messaging, all that kind of stuff. So that has really kind of taken over just in general for all of us. But I think you really have to be intentional. I still like having meetings with people, even on the professional side. I don't want to just sit, go through email all the time. Or even text, because things can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Tones can be misinterpreted in text and in email.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. And maybe it's because I'm a person who likes to build relationships.
Yeah.
I like to build that connection with people. And I don't feel that you build that connection over, through technology, through electronic means.
Shan, it's so interesting, when I hear those people that are in my age group, and they'll say, and this kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit when people say, if it's textable, then all means text me. And I'm just kind of like, man, like I'm with you. Like sometimes I just think that people, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that people can really hold conversations like that.
Yeah.
Like they used to. So it's much easier for them to be able to text. But I'm one of those like, yo, let's meet up somewhere and let's just talk. Like let me pick your brain and you pick mine. Like, and let's see how we
conversation requires one to go inside oneself.
Right.
Folks are running from themselves today, man.
Yeah.
Folks are completely running from themselves today. So I don't expect conversation from a ton of folks.
Yeah.
Folks my conversations tend to go deeper than the average person.
Yeah.
I've been accused of, hey man, don't coach me. What you mean? I'm having a conversation with you. What you talking about?
Yeah.
So a lot of folks don't like the conversation because they don't want to indulge in that. They don't want to talk about the traumas. They don't want to talk about the pains and all that stuff. The stuff that gets you better.
I think in defense to that, I think with some people, whereas I'm pretty much an open, you tell me something, because I'm secure in my truth, right? Some people may have to feel that safety and trust in order for them to open up. So that I understand, but it also it goes back to, like Shan said, that like I always say that, when you can tell a lot about somebody, about not only about just them reading, but how they critically think about the things that they read. Do you accept everything at face value, or do you really question everything? And is your mind curious, right? Because I tell you, all these books that I have in here in these boxes and stuff, most of them I've read, and I guarantee you, in every book that I pretty much read, you will see highlights, you'll see notes, you'll see little question marks, because that's just how my mind works, because I see this person's thought process, but my mind is just a questioning mind. And I don't think that a lot of people understand how attractive curiosity is. Curiosity is on every level. curiosity is so attractive on every level.
I can agree with that. Sometimes, though, being an author, you got to be careful about how much that you feed yourself. You got to get out there and get some life experiences as well.
This is true. This is true. So
You brought up a good point, Trent, when you were saying about people not having any, or referencing the people not having things to talk about because they don't want to necessarily go deep or share certain things. But it made me think about that. You can't give, or you can't give out or pour out what you don't already have in you.
Right.
Exactly.
So, I look at when people can't really conversate about things, or if they sometimes have challenges, even talk, holding conversation, meaningful conversation with people, it's because there's, in my opinion, just maybe there's some substance of things missing on the inside that haven't been addressed.
Do you think too people are afraid of totally get that. Do you think too people are afraid of one being challenged, and then two, do you think people are afraid of their way of thinking being quote unquote wrong, so people feel they feel judged if I share this opinion? And do you think that's another reason why people
Oh, absolutely. I think today people are really worried about being, what we say, like politically correct with things, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not formulating or having a stance or opinion on things. Everyone wants to be Switzerland, so to speak, to a certain degree. But yes, I do think I think we all have some level of fear about being judged for how
my opinion,
stuff, or being judged in any capacity.
Right.
I think once you get to a certain season in your life, that you kind of develop this, you know what, I don't care mentality.
Yeah, this is true.
When I was in my 20s and even some of my 30s, I was very I was a lot more focused on what people thought of me, and living up to the picture and the image they had of me. Whereas now I've had some experience and some life, and I've got some wisdom and some knowledge, and it's either you take me as I am or not. You know, and it's not that I'm perfect, because I'm very much open to feedback and developing and changing and growing. But at the core, it's kind of like I'm secure in who I am. I know who I am at this point in time in my life. So people's judgment doesn't really affect me anymore. That's what's important at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that just comes along. That just comes when you get to a certain season in your
to add to that, most folks really don't want to be seen, and they don't want to see themselves. I'll say that again. Most folks don't want to be seen. When I say be seen, they don't want to see themselves.
Right.
They don't want anyone else seeing them.
Right.
Knowing that when the lights power off at night, that truth gonna come on.
Right.
You power those lights off, that truth's coming on.
Right. And I think
want to be seen.
And I think, Shan, too, this is why I've learned to just kind of, I used to be one of those where I would, whenever I see people, even you can see it on social media too. You can see if your opinion, and if it's a very sound opinion, let me phrase that. If you have a very sound opinion on something that may be against what the norm is, people are so quick to attack you and things like that. And I'm like, people don't understand how important that it is. At least when I was growing up and in school, of having like your own thoughts and perspectives and things like that, right? And this is why I loved. This is true story. This is the reason why I really loved the essay test growing up as a kid, because essay tests not only improved your understanding of the material, but it also allowed you to have your input on it as well too, what your thought process was, right? And I think so many times today, people, if you have a thought process that's against the quote unquote norm, then people are quick to cancel you. They're quick.
They're gonna burn you.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's okay, and I think it's an act of freedom for you to have your own well sound thoughts, right? I don't know. It's interesting that even in not only just conversations, but how some people have perspectives. It's even different today.
Right. Yeah. I think about today. I follow what's his name? He was a radio person, Michael Baisden,
Mm-hmm.
and he has his regular fan page, and then he also has a private page, with, I guess, some, you could call it, some alternative type of lifestyle relationship thinking folks. And you know, whatever people do is what they do. I know what I like, what I enjoy, and what I do. But it was interesting, and he's very vocal about living a polyamorous life.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just very judgmental about that, and towards him, and what his preferences were, and as far as women that he deals with. So I think it's become a societal norm that we're just very judgmental of the things that we don't understand, or sometimes the things that we just don't even agree with, because they go against what we've grown up being told was the norm, right?
Yeah.
I have certain beliefs. Some of the things that I believe and that I appreciate, or a lot of would be probably a little bit more of a conservative lifestyle, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to judge people who don't want that, or who don't believe in that, or who want to have alternative type of relationships.
Right.
Unique capacity, right? It's that, to me, it's not my job to judge.
Correct. I think we have to go. You're totally so right on that. I think we have to go, and at least this is what I do. I go into it I go into it first recognizing that this person is different than me. So I have to suspend my expectations, my standards of how I would do something, and see this person for who they are, right? And see things through their lens, right? And I think so many times people, and we've all guilty of it, we've judged before. We're all guilty of it, right? Yeah. I think the thing is that so many times, like I said, people ever so more than now, people are just afraid of being wrong. People are afraid of being the black sheep, as I call it, right? People are afraid. People would rather much be with the in crowd and think alike than to have your own observations, thought processes, and things.
You got to walk in. You got to walk into exactly who you are.
Absolutely.
You can't have the sheep mentality.
Exactly. You got to be a complete lion.
And so, see, Shan, I'm the black sheep. You know how like Kobe Bryant was the black mamba. I'm the black sheep. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's talk about that tops and bottoms, man. For the official sponsor for the conversation. What you got going? You had the order this week?
I do. I just shipped off 2 orders this morning. I actually I can smell the wonderful aroma right now of a chocolate cake that I'll be making tonight for a customer that'll be going out to a customer tomorrow morning. So I appreciate and am humbled and honored to be able to be on the platform and to have exposure to your folks that follow you, and thank you for all those folks who've been reaching out for orders. I'm looking forward to having a website up by the end of the month so that people can go directly onto the webpage to place orders and whatnot. But don't let that stop you. Please go ahead and visit me on Facebook and IG at topsandbottomsediblecreations.com, and you can reach me directly there with any orders or special requests. So thank you again, Mr. Williams. I appreciate the opportunity here.
No opportunity given, man. No opportunity. It's my pleasure. It's all good. What's going on, Nick? Tell folks where they can reach you, brother.
Man, you can reach me. Find me on Facebook, Nick Hicks. You can find me on the email tip, nahicks88@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm taking it way back. You can find me on Instagram, Nick Hicks _88. Feel free. Before I do that, I got to send a huge shout out to my good friend in Atlanta named Taylor Chandler. She has a podcast on Spotify called Boundaries and Grace. And she is very anointed. She is very fierce. She is a truth, and she will get it out of you. So I just want to send a shout out to Taylor. Learned a lot from her, and I will be on her second season.
Oh,
On her first season, so I'll be on her second season. So that's going to be exciting as well too.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
I'll have to tune in.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, back to this the sapiosexual. Like I said, that whole thought process about the intelligence and whatnot, what have you. You have to be on two totally different realms to actually understand one another. You have to be in a space where no one actually can go. You have to be in a different space to actually be able to communicate with a person like that. Intellectual conversation, yeah, that's fine. But when you can actually speak to a person without saying one word, that's a totally different connection in itself. So, I think you guys are freezing up again.
I'm good.
Not on my end. You're fine.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, me personally, I believe that you have to go a little deeper to even indulge in conversation with a person. Average conversations, yeah, okay, that's fine and dandy, but what's between the shoulders, man?
Yeah.
What can I learn from you?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to be the teacher in the room. What can I learn from you?
Yeah. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly.
And I even think I'll take it a step further. I think that a lot of times when it comes to even, and I'm gonna go here, race relations here in this country and just race relations, period. I think there's so much on both sides that can really be heard and understood better. And the problem is that and if you look at most of these groups, a lot of the feminist groups, a lot of it, like, if people spent a lot of time understanding one another and really getting to their thought processes, and I'm saying this as quick as I can, one of my goals, this may sound very crazy what I'm about to say, one of my goals in life would be to sit down with a member of the Ku Klux Klan, right? Mm-hmm. I would be wanting to hear their perspectives on how, I'm a big boy, so I can handle them calling me whatever. I'm a big boy, right? So, but I would be curious to hear their perspectives on why they are who they are, because chances are they aren't who they are just because, right?
Well, let me stop you there, because we don't do that around here. As far as that with the Ku Klux Klan, I have no interest in knowing what their thought process is.
Right. I understand that.
Zero interest.
Right.
Then their entire thought process. If we haven't gotten it in 60 years, something wrong with us.
Right. No, totally respect that. I totally respect it. And maybe it's me saying that because I believe that if you have two civil people, keep in mind two civil people who
you could be civil and not even entertain it.
Right. True.
They've actually shown their ignorance.
Right.
Decades upon decades. There's nothing level-headed about the things that they've done.
Right.
So, we don't do that around here, Nick.
Yeah. And that's fair. I say I also too believe, and there's a part of me that says that, and again, I'm completely in the minority on this, but there's a part of me that says that I couldn't be able to do it because it's not up to me. But I believe that change and conversations work hand in hand, and the problem is not just with that I'm going back to people in general. People in general struggle with conversations. They struggle with uncomfortable conversations.
You know why they struggle with conversation, Nick? And we're totally off topic, but I love to go there because as you see in the opening piece, we talk about everything from sex to politics to race, everything. Right. So we could actually go there as well. But the reason why we're struggling with all that, why they struggle with conversation, all this stuff that's happening today is biblical. All of this stuff is biblical. Everything about race relate, all this stuff is biblical. So that won't be any understanding when it comes down to that stuff, man. When you try to figure this out, 5 minutes later, somebody's dead. We can walk out the door right now. You want to bring them together, have a conversation with Ku Klux Klan, they're hanging 6 niggas.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Even with, like you said, when it comes to just people in general, right? Let's take that out of the way. Like when it comes to people in general, I think people are just so uncomfortable just having conversations, not even just intellectual.
It's not an uncomfortable conversation. It's for guys that that has been dealing with this for years on top of years and have dealt with race relations and all this foolishness.
Right.
I mean, how much more talking we need to do?
No. I hear what you're saying. I'm talking about outside.
How much more understanding do we need to have?
But hold on, because there have been people who have gone out, and I'm just going to go back to the example that Nick has used as far as Klan members that have talked to Klan members on a one-on-one basis, and it's really a lot of it. That stuff is taught, right? A lot of that is taught and learned behavior.
Right.
So I do think that there's value in conversating. I mean, even at let's say the world leadership level. I mean, our president and other world leaders all meet together at summits to talk and do all of those things to be able to come to maybe a better understanding, a mutual agreement on terms of different things. So I wouldn't say that you can discount conversation, and it shouldn't just be that, oh, I'm not going to entertain that person because.
How many more conversations do we have?
It's not about it doesn't matter. However many need to be had, right? However many need to be had. You can't just make a blanket statement.
We'll agree.
Hold on. You can't just make a blanket statement and say that conversing or talking to people has no value, because that's kind of how it's coming off, and just shut that completely out. That's not. We can't be as close-minded as everybody else.
Listen to me. Me personally, I don't see any good in sitting down with a Ku Klux Klan member and having another conversation.
Right. I can understand.
That's you, and you can only speak for you, and this is your platform, so that's fine. But it's not to discount what Nick may want to do or the value that he feels that he could get out of it.
I said was we don't do that around here, Shan. That's
I understand. No. I get it. I get it. And I think part of, and see, I always say that. See, even this right here is going back to the sapiosexual, right? We are agreeing to disagree, but at the end of the day, we're understanding one another, even if we disagree. And that's okay. I understand where Brother Trent is coming from. I understand where Wine Fine Shan is coming from. I get it. It is all. And it's beautiful to have these conversations because, again, Trent has his perspective. I have mine. Shan, you have yours. But guess what? There's room for it all. And the thing is that we're learning from each other, even in the midst of a disagreement or discord. We're still learning from one another. That's the beauty in it.
So my whole thing is, even having a conversation, you go back, pull the tapes on me from years, 10, 15 years, I still stand on the same thing.
Yeah. I completely understand that.
I don't bend on it, refuse to bend on that.
All right. I understand that 1,000%. Totally get that. No, that was good. You see how that was good. You know what I'm saying? But when I say that this is what mature people do.
Exactly.
Let's talk. Let's look at relationships in that fashion, right? You look at this dynamic that we just had, right? Imagine in relationships when two people who may have different opinions about things, but they're still able to come to an understanding, still able to do coffee, they're still able to do whatever. That's the beauty in like the whole sapiosexual, like, because you see someone's perspective, and even if it's different than yours, that is okay. That's the beautiful part to me.
Absolutely. That's what the conversation is all about, and it's also about allowing people to speak their truth, telling people exactly what's on their mind. Right. That's what conversation brand has always been about for years.
Right.
Speak your mind, whatever it is, speak your mind. So when you brought up the Klan, I had to speak my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, smoke your mind, all right.
But see, here's the thing. I noticed that even in our Discord, right? The disagreement we had, right? Here's the thing with that.
I wouldn't say we agreed to disagree.
Right. I will say that. See how cordial and harmony that is. Exactly. Imagine that being in relationships. Somebody having a different perspective of you. So instead of judging and shaming and calling this person stupid, you're open to this person's experience, and you can disagree. That's fine. Completely cool with that. But you understand where they stand at.
Right.
Exactly. That's called adulting.
This is true.
That's called a dog in. It's always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You know, Shan had to pull out the dog tag and pull a collar
You had
back.
to pull out the what? Excuse me, you pulled out the what?
You had to pull out the leash. Hold on a second.
For who? For Nick?
No, you pull it out on me. It's like, well, hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know,
no, you good.
You good.
You good.
It's okay to see. That's another thing. It's okay to have passionate conversations, and everyone.
You know, I mean, honestly, Nick. I mean, I come from a different era.
Right. Completely understand.
What's that, the old era?
Different. Say that again.
Is that the old? Like, what era is that? What are you talking about?
Now that fine with wine type of era. That fine with wine type of era. And I say that with a lovely smile.
I see. I think, you know, but on a serious note, it's good to have these are the kind of things that are stimulating when you talk about sapiosexuals, right? Being able to have that type of discourse and with each other, and for me, it's about when you're talking and you have different perspectives or different views and you're passionate about it. My thing is just don't be closed-minded. It's when you're closed-minded and you're just stuck in this. It has to be this way. You know, not realizing that there is another way to get that wheel down the road or whatever it is. You know,
right? Absolutely. Well, it's good stuff, man. We are closing on 3 minutes here, but. Good stuff as always. Great stuff as always. We'll come back next week with a thought. Actually, Brother Mark was looking for you last week when Shannon was on. He was like, "What, Brother Nick at in the back putting the shirt on?"
I told you I'm trying to get 90s album cover fine. I'm just saying,
you, brother.
He said Did you say 90s album?
No, hold on. Nick, you got to go. You're trying to get to the 90s. That was my era. I was on and popping back there. When LA out.
Oh man.
I lived in LA at that time.
Wow. You were wearing LA out?
Oh my God.
Is that what you said?
Literally.
Oh my God. No, this I will say before we close like this, I've greatly enjoyed this. I greatly enjoyed, I've greatly enjoyed this because again, I get to learn from Brother Trent, and at the end of the day, I get to learn from Shan, right? And anytime I come away from there, even though I may have my perspectives on things, but if I can come away from there understanding someone else, and because it's not about me.
Yeah,
exactly. It's about servicing people, man. We always talk about servicing people. It's about servicing people. How can I serve you? How people gonna come back for a second's helping if we don't serve them the proper food, the proper nourishment? They will not come back for a second serving. They won't. So you're gonna get the raw, you're gonna get the real.
Yep.
You'll get everything in between, but we'll be called you in the end.
Right.
We'll be called you in the end, but that's authentic, man. That's called authentic. You know, just say I'll be the first one to say that's one of the words that's a target word for me as far as Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
I let it rip. I let it show.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But anybody who followed Trent over the years, they know that's one of the words that actually get me going.
Yeah.
So
totally understand that.
Yeah, but it's all good though. It's all good, and just know that whenever you go to have that meeting with the Ku Klux Klan, holler at me so I can bring these 2 things with me to get you.
I got a lot of things as well too. So I got 5 of them and 2.
I got you. But don't go in there like Bruce Willis by yourself now.
No. I got 2 ARs, so I got.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and Nick. The thing too, don't tell them what you have.
That's fine. No, I'll tell them. This is what I got. I'm a legal gun owner, so
that's cool. But
yeah,
you have to let them know what you're thinking, brother.
Yeah.
It's all good. All good. Shan, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
As Mark says, the cookie lady. So I should be expecting my chocolate chip overload here soon, right?
Yeah, just like I'm expecting some gumbo.
Well, you have to come to New Orleans to get that gumbo. We're gonna leave it on that note.
Anyway.
There you go. Good stuff.
All
right, good stuff. Until next week, anybody come over the topic, we just run with it, whatever. It's all good.
Wait, I thought you were talking about the whole betrayal thing.
You know what? Well, that whole selective memory loss. So.
Yeah. I like Nick. I'm gonna be looking for Nick's perspective too on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what's the topic, Shan?
I thought it was love after betrayal.
Love after betrayal. That's deep. Yeah, well, I guess we're gonna do that. I guess we'll do it on Sunday, this Sunday. So yeah, folks, we're doing Wednesdays and Sundays at 7 Central, 8 Eastern on the Conversation platform. And we're getting closer and closer to that app streaming from the app. So hopefully a month out. Hopefully it's in time for the Romello release this fall. But almost there. We're almost there with the app. Just as before, Conversation streamed on the app and streamed across the country, overseas, everywhere. It's going to be the same thing. Nothing changed, different mindset.
All right.
Any closing remarks from you guys?
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. It's been an honor. It's been fun. It's good seeing you back this week, Nick. So looking forward to Sunday.
I missed you. I almost said I missed you, boo. I missed you. I missed you guys too.
What you gonna do when I really get a boo now?
I'm gonna be on his ass like white on rice.
Ain't that something?
I'm just kidding, Shan. I'm just kidding.
Ain't that something?
I'm gonna need some ladies to come on here and help me out here. They're like,
I got a homegirl of mine coming out.
My own, but I told you a little more estrogen on here.
Shan, I told you I'm fair. You know I'm fair.
I have a friend of mine coming actually in August, Timda. She used to be on the platform, on the Conversation platform years ago, out of Brooklyn, New York. So she'll be on. She'll be bringing some perspective, some great perspective.
Oh, good! Yay! Another lady.
Yeah, she's actually a life coach and she's an author.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so real good stuff. Her name's Timna. She used to have a show on a platform called Timna Uncut. Very raw, very cutting edge. Good stuff. Real good stuff. So until next week, we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Have a good one.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.